And welcome to King 5. This is The Week, a look at what made headlines in our region, along with your weekend forecast. First up, a missing Arizona teenager is safe this week after federal agents found her at a large homeless encampment along I-5 in Olympia, nicknamed the Jungle. Authorities believe she is the victim of trafficking. That discovery is now intensifying calls from nearby business owners to close that site. King 5's Alex McClune explains why that could take some time.
This is the area where federal agents found the girl. Behind me, you can see rows of tents from where we're standing in the parking lot of a bar and a dispensary. Other businesses around this area say this incident is another reason why they want this encampment closed. At Coombs RV, the walking path to the jungle starts across owner John Coombs' parking lot.
Most of the time they walk across our parking lot here like they own the place and swing around this fence right here and step down into the area.
His parents bought the property in 1972. The encampment, he says, grew behind his business about 10 years ago.
These people down here have the run of our property 24 hours a day.
Last Thursday, Coombs came to work and found federal agents outside.
And they said that they were looking for a young lady in the jungle down here that was being trafficked.
2 weeks ago, U.S. Marshals say they received information that a missing girl from Mesa, Arizona was potentially being sex trafficked in Washington. Last Thursday, a U.S. Marshal canvassed the camp and safely recovered the young woman Olympia police describe as a runaway. Body camera pictures show the elaborate encampment with tarps, hallways, and furniture. Authorities have not announced any arrests. Coombs says the news doesn't surprise him.
I told them that I see young women walking in and out of here all the time. Some of them look too innocent to be going down in there with all those people.
The jungle covers about 20 acres of land, 6 acres owned by the city of Olympia. The rest, about 16, is privately owned. Local governments have been working on a long-term plan to close the encampment and move people into housing, but no closure date is set. Coombs says it can't come soon enough.
It's not fair for us that the city of Olympia has this going on next to our business and the other businesses around us that suffer from it.
The city has an agreement to potentially buy the privately owned land for $3 million, but the mayor says he doesn't expect the jungle to close this year. In Olympia, Alex McClune, King 5 News.
At least 12 people were taken into custody last weekend during a surge in ICE arrests in western Washington. King 5 immigration reporter Sharon Yu has more from Kent.
Somebody driving down this road here in Kent captured that ICE arrest on cell phone video. Take a look at this here. That glass, it still remains from this afternoon's ICE arrest. And we know that this is part of a surge that happened this weekend.
¿Cuál es tu nombre?
On Father's Day, a woman recorded an ICE arrest.
Back up, back up, back up, back up, back up.
Jose Robles Galeana was on his way home after getting groceries in Lakewood. Camila Bermudez heard the news from her mother.
It happened on Father's Day this past Sunday, and my dad, he likes to do something for Father's Day. I think last year we went out to eat at a restaurant. And then this year, he wanted to do like a carne asada, like a little barbecue in the back for the family.
He never got to enjoy that Father's Day barbecue.
Let me go hug him, tell him Happy Father's Day. And when she came in alone, I was just like, something's wrong.
Over the weekend, the grassroots site tracking ICE arrests, iceout.org, lit up. At least 8 arrests were reported in Washington. On Saturday, an arrest at a Walmart in Bellevue. On Sunday, multiple, including this one in Pacific and this one in Shelton. Earlier this morning, ICE arrested someone in Linwood.
Blocking traffic, move.
And a few hours later, someone else in Auburn.
This is when I was the tallest one out of all my siblings.
Flipping through family photos now, Camilla says they're more precious than ever. Holding close the images of a man who came to the U.S. searching for a better life for him and his family more than 2 decades ago.
This is something that definitely separates and breaks apart families, and I feel like living through it and actually seeing what it does to people is something that no one deserves to go through.
Galeana is currently being held at the Northwest ICE Processing Center in Tacoma. That's where he is fighting his immigration case from. Joyce.
You've been tracking ICE arrests for a while now. Do you know what could be behind this latest surge?
Yeah, so the recent numbers are unclear. The latest set of data set that comes from the Deportation Data Project only comes up to March of this year, and that showed that there's up until January to March of this year, there's 750 arrests in Washington. But we know that earlier this year, Trump advisor Stephen Miller said that ICE, DHS, has a quota of 3,000 arrests per day nationwide, and we do know that tomorrow, on June 30th, it is the last day of the third quarter for the federal fiscal year.
The city of Seattle is cracking down on violence with emergency street closures. On Tuesday, the council voted to expand SDOT's power to close streets during public safety threats. King 5's Natalie Swaby shares the details about how the new rules will work.
Well, at City Hall, leaders note that they're aiming to disrupt the legal activity in the area. Specifically, Aurora Avenue's public safety problems are what sparked this measure, and neighbors there say they've had enough of the violence. In Seattle, longtime resident Scott Murray says the view has changed.
A lot of U-turns, yes.
Murray lives on North 98, one of the several streets the city targeted with temporary barriers that now block traffic from cutting onto Aurora Avenue, an area long troubled by gunfire and sex trafficking. Since the barriers went up, Murray says activity has dropped.
It's been less prostitution. Cars aren't coming down here as much often. I think they're kind of getting the gist that it's kind of had to slow down because of the barriers.
Now that short-term fix is receiving the formal treatment at City Hall.
Their neighbors saw an 8% increase of gun violence in the month of May.
After public outcry, council members responded unanimously.
9 in favor, none opposed.
Bill passes.
Voting yes to expanded emergency powers for the Transportation Department to close streets during public safety threats. But some leaders say barriers alone won't solve the problem.
It's not just public safety, it's also the public health pieces. We need the unified care teams to do their job. We need the engagement. We're putting in shelters.
The roads isn't the problem.
Tony Mazzarella runs a business near Aurora and agrees more needs to be done.
Every time I turn the corner in the morning, there's a new bunch of people doing drugs and ODing and whatever.
Still, Murray believes the barriers are a step forward.
If you want things to be better around here, you gotta kind of like go with what the city's planning. My hope is that peace remains, whatever peace we have here.
Now, the city already closes alleys for public safety reasons. Today's vote now gives the SDOT director power to temporarily shut down streets after consulting with police when concerns about criminal activity arise.
On the last day of the term, the nation's highest court blocked President Trump's efforts to redefine who is an American, striking down his executive order nullifying birthright citizenship enshrined in the Constitution since the Civil War. In a 6-3 ruling, the court said the president's executive order, signed his first day in office, violated the 14th Amendment, which states in part that all persons born or naturalized in the U.S. are American citizens. President Trump called the decision bad for the country and said Congress should work to end it. King 5 immigration reporter Sharon Yu spoke with the attorney who filed one of the first lawsuits against the Trump administration on this issue.
More than a year after the Northwest Immigrant Rights Project sued President Donald Trump for attempting to strike down birthright citizenship, Matt Adams is breathing a sigh of relief.
I mean, on the one hand, it should be clear. Every court that has looked at this has said, yes, the Constitution is unambiguous. Anyone who's born here is by right of the Constitution a U.S. citizen.
Adams, on behalf of 3 then pregnant women, filed the lawsuit. The women had varying immigration statuses and all worried for the futures of their unborn children.
Under Trump's policy that he enacted, their children who are born here would not be entitled to citizenship. They'd be left in limbo without any status.
It really was too close for comfort.
Constitutional law professor Andrew Siegel says the split among the justices was surprising.
I think that if you'd told anyone just a couple of years ago this issue before the Supreme Court, they would have thought that birthright citizenship would have been reaffirmed in a strong 9-0 or 8-1 opinion. And on the constitutional issues, it was 5-4.
As for the 3 women who took the first step in challenging the Trump administration,
and all are living here in the greater King County area and are healthy kids and are relieved now that they don't have this uncertainty, that they're not forced with this idea of family separation or having to return to countries they fled to because their children would not be permitted to remain here.
Well, a harrowing account of a dog attack in Tacoma. 2 dogs repeatedly bit a pregnant woman who tells South Bureau Chief Drew Mickelson she thought that she and her baby were going to die.
I was carrying the car seat.
Thursday was Renee Wilson's due date, and as she headed out to install her coming baby's car seat, she heard barking.
They ran up and they tried to attack my Chihuahua, so I jumped in front of her to stop them from attacking her. It kept latching back on to places after it would bite me, so it bit my arm, then jumped back up and attacked my belly. When I fell to the ground, the other dog grabbed my other leg. They started dragging me, grabbed me by my hair. The dogs had been attacking me for at least a minute or two while I was screaming for help, you know.
Neighbors eventually heard the screams, including a man with a broom and a woman.
She was kind of afraid of the dogs, but she still attempted to help me. I begged her for help. I told her that's when the dog had my belly in his mouth, and I was telling her I was pregnant. Please help, don't let him kill my baby.
She suffered multiple dog bites, and doctors decided to induce, and baby Armani arrived without a scratch.
It appears that there was a broken fence board that was known to the owners, and someone in the home let the dogs out and they escaped through a broken fence board.
Tacoma's animal control officers say the owners of the dogs retrieved them, but the city ended up seizing the American Pit Bull Terrier and an American Bully, declaring them as dangerous. The owners can appeal and a judge can get involved. Otherwise, the dogs will be euthanized.
Only 4 days old, so I'm kind of lonely. I miss him. I wish I was able to be with him. I wish he was able to be here.
Armani and Mom got to spend the weekend together, but she'll remain in the hospital until she can walk again and is free from infection. She can't wait to get home to her baby and her Chihuahua, Katie, who got away without getting hurt. She says her neighbors made the difference.
When I finally looked back up, my neighbor was there, and I was like, oh, thank God, you know, like, please, like, just thinking, please let my baby be okay.
Those dog owners are expected to be charged with misdemeanors, resulting in more than $2,000 in fines. Renee Wilson says they can also expect to face a civil lawsuit from her. In Tacoma, Drew Mickelson, King 5 News.
King 5 meteorologist Adam Claiborne shows you what to expect from the weekend weather right after this.
Hi there, everyone. Happy 4th of July weekend. I'm King 5 meteorologist Adam Claiborne, and yes, it's expected to be a very beautiful weekend. We are going to have clouds, and those will stick around primarily during the morning, and most of that on Saturday morning for 4th of July. Sunday should be clearer earlier on, and we're going to see more of that sunshine as we go throughout the day, too. And temperatures are going to be very close to their seasonal averages, which are in the mid-70s. And so let's go ahead and talk about the forecast for 4th of July. And this is what we're expecting to see clouds during the first half of the day, and that will extend to maybe the first few hours of the afternoon, but the sunshine should take over. We warm up into those mid-70s, and by the evening, fireworks shows starting to go off at about 10:30, and we'll be back down into the 60s at that point. So maybe have something to cover the arms. A bit cool at that point, but maybe enough airflow that we're going to see a lot of the smoke around the fireworks be able to move along and not continue to stick around where the fireworks are exploding and really limit our viewing of those displays. So again, good news there. Very comfortable here as we head on into the weekend, and good to see a little more of that sunshine. And yes, the Mariners going to be home here as we head throughout the weekend. So Saturday and Sunday against the Blue Jays. Expecting to see areas of clouds in the morning. We'll see that begin to break down as we head into the afternoon, and more sunshine as we head on into Sunday. Highs for both days will be in the 70s, but you can see first pitch a bit earlier, going to be a little cooler with those clouds earlier on Saturday. Sunday's game should be in the lower 70s. And then an off day heading into Monday, and an off day just in time because we have the USA men's soccer team coming into town, going up against Belgium later on that evening. We'll talk about that in a bit, but check out that high temperature. Getting up to 81 degrees, but that will be the peak of the warmth that we're going to deal with here over the next 7-day stretch. Starting to see those numbers fall back down into the mid to lower 70s by the middle and latter part of the week, and some showers could be around too as we head on into Wednesday. Let's talk about what's happening now. You can see definitely just noticing a few of those light showers with a weaker system that's moving through parts of BC, and that will continue to find its way on through here, but that's also going to really help to instill and bring about more of that onshore push, which is helping with the cloud development here for early into Saturday morning. That's gradually going to decrease, but you can see 7 o'clock early Saturday, seeing some of those clouds in place, giving way to more sunshine by about 1 to 2 o'clock into the afternoon. And it should be very clear, if not completely clear, as we head on into the evening at about 6 or 7 p.m. More clouds throughout the overnight, and those, again, will start us off early into Sunday, but won't stick around for as long and should get out of here and give way to more sunshine, meaning a slightly warmer day heading into the day on Sunday, and things getting even warmer by the time we get ready to roll on into the day on Monday, which is going to be a big day. Check out that matchup. USA, Belgium here, Seattle Stadium. Later on into the evening, 5 p.m. is when we're going to see that game start off, or that match start off, and you can see temperatures will be right around that 80-degree mark around that point. And looking at what's going to be happening for the remainder of the 7-day period, just a few more clouds beginning to build back into the picture for us after Monday, because Monday should be pretty much nothing but sunshine. That's why we get so warm. System coming in from off of the Pacific there, mainly spinning up that way into BC, but it will spin some moisture our way and start to increase some of the shower chances into more of the day on Wednesday. We'll get a few light showers out of that. That will finally work its way on off towards the east. So Thursday and Friday, looks like we'll keep some of those showers off to the north. We'll keep it out for maybe next Friday, though, of seeing just a few light showers in place. But it does bring back a little more of that onshore push, keeping things just slightly cool. And you can see some very limited amounts of rain expected with that here over the next 7-day stretch. All right, your high temperatures for Saturday. We top off at 68 there in Blaine. We'll see the mid-60s around Orcas Island, upper 60s around Bellingham with a high of 68 at Mount Vernon, 69 in Cedro Woolley, and seeing more highs for your 4th of July around the upper 60s in Arlington and also with low 70s for Lake Stevens, Monroe, and around Maltby. Now, the closer you get to the water, Camano and Whidbey Island, expecting to see only 60s for highs. Linwood, the same for us there too, but you can see the pickup in some of the high temperatures as we head on into areas such as Seattle and Renton and farther south. That's where we'll get a better chance of seeing those mid to perhaps lower 70s. That will be around for many of us. 75 there in Auburn. We'll top off at about 75 in Tacoma, 74 in Olympia, and 74 also in Tenino, with areas farther south if you're heading down that way here at any point into the day tomorrow. Mid-70s around Castle Rock and Longview. 50s, though, if you're heading out towards parts of the central and the south coast. Just off the coast, though, Forks at 62 and Port Angeles at 63 degrees. And your 7-day forecast. Here it is right here. You can see temperatures will try to climb here as we get ready to head on into the next 3-day stretch. And throughout the holiday weekend, really just a beautiful, beautiful couple of days for us for Saturday and Sunday. We'll top off at 76 on Sunday, and then we'll deal with that heat, or very warm conditions here as we get ready to head on into Monday, as we top off at 81 there and see the gradual cool down as we get ready to head on into the middle of next week with that chance of showers by next Wednesday. Okay, everyone, will enjoy all the festivities, enjoy the fireworks displays and everything here on your 4th of July and the remainder of the weekend too. And we'll see you again next week.
Welcome back to The Week. A missing persons case involving a Joint Base Lewis McChord veteran is now a homicide investigation. Police arrested 2 people, including an active duty soldier from JBLM. South Bureau Chief Drew Mickelson found out how officers connected the dots.
Police say the man reported missing last month was killed at this Lakewood apartment, and his remains were apparently dumped on the other side of Joint Base Lewis McChord. Detectives say it was financial records that helped them crack this case.
They had her cuffed up right here.
Lakewood police were on site starting before midnight.
Right now they're down there looking for the weapon and stuff.
And they stuck around late into the afternoon. At the same time, 5 miles away, military investigators were also looking for clues into the murder of Kaylik Bradley, first reported missing in early June.
It has been 3 weeks. 3 weeks that I've last been in contact with my son, Kaylik Bradley.
His mother created a Facebook page and held an online fundraiser to also raise awareness about the JBLM veterans' disappearance. Simultaneously, Tacoma police were investigating.
They started looking at some financial stuff, and that's where they found that the missing person's credit card had been used at several businesses. So, good police work.
A man arrested for using Bradley's credit card took officers to a remote yet public part of the base where they found remains police believe were Bradley's. The man, an active duty soldier, allegedly told police Bradley was killed by a former girlfriend at her Lakewood apartment.
Man, all I know is we got a bunch of kids around here.
Neighbors watched as police seized a couch from the place after arresting the woman. The woman and man are both scheduled to go before a Pierce County judge on Thursday. They're both facing murder charges. They're being held without bail. Neighbors here hope that woman never comes back. In Lakewood, Drew Mickelson, King 5 News.
A spot on the quarterfinals is on the line. Organizers are expecting record crowds, packed businesses, and another massive march to the match. King 5's Bridget Chavez shows us how the city is getting ready for its last World Cup match.
This is the final match for Seattle, and it could also be the city's biggest. Organizers tell us that they are breaking records left and right. The U.S. men's team will be back here on Monday. Fans are already coming here from thousands of miles away, and businesses say that they're bringing in more business for these matches that we've seen than they do for Seahawks games.
All right, Luna, why don't you come up on stage?
Luna, the psychic pup, had one job.
What are you gonna
Pick the winner of Monday night's USA-Belgium match. But after passing on the hot dogs and fish in the USA Bowl and the Belgian waffle in the other, Luna refused to make a pick. She did, however, knock over the Belgian flag.
I will declare the United States the winner.
For Seattle World Cup organizers, the excitement is about more than a four-legged forecaster. The U.S. men are returning to Seattle Monday with a spot in the quarterfinals on the line.
They have executed well beyond expectations.
Organizers say the tournament has already exceeded expectations and broken records across the city. On Juneteenth, 280,000 people rode Sound Transit and 85,000 people packed the waterfront, shattering its previous record of 50,000.
We're really kind of breaking records all over the place.
The surge is also showing up outside the stadium.
I think 2.5 times the amount of normal sales we see for like Seattle Seahawks games and everything.
The hall is expecting to break the record it just set.
The last USA game we ran out of cans of beer. We ran right down to our last case of cider.
Some fans have already traveled much further to get here.
So I drove here 3 days. I spent 3 days overnight also on the road.
This man drove all the way from Virginia and bought his $1,200 ticket before the USA even beat Bosnia.
And that's my dream, to see the US on the field.
And the last time the U.S. men's team was here, 15,000 people marched from the waterfront here to Seattle Stadium. There were 8,000 Australian fans, so that's 23,000 fans. That's about a third of what the capacity holds here at Seattle Stadium. Organizers say they expect that record to be shattered too. Reporting live in Seattle, Bridget Chavez, King 5 News.
And thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed a look at the biggest stories of the week.